Hi, welcome to TOSH Pilates video library. My name is Mary. For 5 weeks, we are going to be focusing on the 5 basic principles of Pilates. They are essential to firing the correct muscles during every exercise and doing so in the most efficient way that helps you prevent injury during exercise. Today will be the first of 2 videos focusing on breathing. The first thing I'm going to do is educate you on this principle. Then we're going to do a couple of exercises so that you can feel it. And then we're going to finish by applying the principle to some exercises that you already may be familiar with. All right, well, let's begin. Breath work. Why is it so important? We emphasize it so much in every class, right? You hear us telling you to exhale, inhale, when to do that breath, right? And it can sometimes be very overwhelming for people. Well, there is purpose to this. Breath work not only oxygenates as we inhale and oxygenates the blood, but it also helps us to relax areas of tension that are unnecessary, our head, neck, shoulders, mid-back, that as we inhale, oxygenating that blood, and we exhale, we release that stress and tension. It also allows our minds to better focus on the task at hand. That's why we call this a mindful exercise. So let's go ahead. We're going to start with our knees bent, and we're going to kind of pull them in close towards us. The objective of this first move is I want us to think about that breath work coming into the ribs. So we want to, again, that oxygen, we want to reach that air into the lower lobes of our lungs. And as we do so, we inhale in through the nose, exhale out through that open pursed lip. So this might feel uncomfortable for some of you. A couple of other options is to do it seated and fold yourself over your legs. You can also place a ball or a pillow in between your belly and your thighs as well. Again, what I want you to feel is your ribs expanding out to the sides and into your back, pushing back, rather than allowing a belly breath or a chest breath. So for 5 breaths, let's go ahead, fold over. You can relax your arms over your legs, looking down. We're going to begin that breath. Inhale and exhale. As you continue to breathe, feel that air press out to the sides and into your ribs and rib cage in your back. And give me 2 more. You'll likely feel that your belly and your chest are a little restricted, allowing that breath then to kind of forcefully push out from the ribs. Good, let's go ahead. And now we're going to lie on our back. I love breath work because, again, it allows you to move tension free. And on that exhale, release areas that you might normally want to pull from, such as your head, your neck, shoulders, mid-back, even sometimes in your hips. As we exhale, we can connect with our bodies. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to now place our hands on the sides of our ribs. Let's continue with that idea of breathing 3-dimensionally. Inhale and exhale. Feeling those ribs come together and down a little bit so they draw in and gently kind of reach. Inhale, they open up and expand out. And exhale. Now, what I want you to do on this last breath, see if you can feel your ribs reaching into the mat and your back expanding. Good. Now we're going to take our hands and they're going to come down to our pelvis. On both sides of our hips, what we call our ASIS, they're the 2 bony bones poking out. And you're going to walk your hands in just about an inch and gently press down. Now, as you inhale, expand those ribs. And then exhale, we're gently forcing the air out through those pursed lips, and you're going to feel a gentle tightening. What I'd like you to feel is a tightening underneath your fingertips. Inhale. Now, as you feel that tightening, I want you to also think about a gentle lifting from your pelvic floor. So, you think of that pelvic floor between your two sits bones and your pubic bone and tailbone. It makes kind of like a diamond. And that pelvic floor lies across that diamond. So on our exhales, we want to think of not only a gentle tightening in that transverse, that abdominal wall underneath our fingers, but we want to think of a gentle lift from that diamond. And they both kind of meet as the pelvic floor travels up and the transverse gently tightens. You feel them kind of coming together and meeting in the center of your body. Let's try a couple more. We're going to take an inhale. Expand those ribs. Exhale. Feel the gentle tightening underneath your fingers and a gentle lift of your pelvic floor. Inhale. Now remember, this is a whisper muscle. It's not going to be yelling. It's not going to be forceful. It's not going to get shaky. It's not going to do any of those things. But it is what will control and stabilize the spine. Good. Let's just do two more. Remembering as we exhale, releasing tension through our body, focusing on even visually seeing those muscles activate, and exhale. Great. Okay, we're now going to try those same exercises, but on all fours. So we're going to roll ourselves up, coming onto all fours. Into kind of that cat-cow is what we're thinking about in a way. But we're not going to move our spine or our pelvis. I want us to first think about, on that inhale again, expanding those ribs, pressing up towards the ceiling and out to the sides. And then exhale, gently press out the air. Now, oftentimes, when I'm with a client, I will sometimes put my hand right on their belly. As you inhale, let that belly relax and let that belly kind of fall into your hand or your imaginary hand underneath you. And then on the exhale, you're going to gently pull away from your hand. Gently. You're just feeling again that tightening sensation beneath your hand between those two bones. And then as you do so, you're again thinking of that pelvic floor, almost like a gentle Kegel, lifting towards the belly button. Good, we're gonna do two more. Inhale, in through the nose, reaching that oxygen deep into the lower lobes of the lungs. And exhale. It's important, let's continue to breathe. It's important to remember that that transverse muscle, that deep belly muscle, is a respiratory muscle. And it's important that we exhale to initiate engagement of that muscle. That being said, we always want to do that before we start movement. That helps to stabilize the spine and the body to keep before you start moving, so you move correctly in the right muscle. Good. Now, let's go ahead. We are going to do our first exercise, applying that principle and all those small exercises into 100s. 100s is where we add that little bit of flexion and we work on controlling the breath on an inhale and on an exhale for 100 counts. So let's go ahead, come onto your back, bend your knees. If you remember, always starting tension free, so if you need to start your head on a pillow, find your neutral. We're going to do this just in neutral. You have the option of keeping your feet down in neutral or coming into imprint and bringing your legs into tabletop. Because this is a basics, I'm going to keep my feet down and hold neutral. I want us to really focus on that breath work and be able to make sure that we're feeling and controlling it. So, extending those arms forward, hovering them on the ground. Take a nice inhale as you lengthen the back of your neck. Exhale, peeling the head up. Now from here, we're going to inhale for 5 counts, expanding the ribs, and exhale, drawing those ribs in. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, pulling those ribs in together, gently tightening in that deep abs. Good. And here we go. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Inhale, expand the ribs, and exhale, gentle tightening in your core. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 70. Inhale, and exhale. 80. Inhale, and exhale. 90. Inhale, and exhale. 100. Good. Go ahead and roll one vertebra down at a time. So, hundreds, we want to really focus on controlling that breath. Hopefully you could feel a little differently than when we have all the bells and whistles and we're going to town, that you could feel those ribs moving, you could feel the tightening of your core, and that you could feel controlled in both of those areas. All right, now let's go ahead. We are going to flip back over onto all fours, and we're going to practice using that breath to keep our torso stable and do a little bit of bird dog. So in this position, oftentimes when we use that breath and we come into this position, we extend in our spine. So naturally, when we inhale, our spine comes into an extension and our ribs open. And when we exhale, our spine gives a little bit of flexion and we turn inward. Sometimes in our exercises, and why we can be so particular with breath, is we exhale when our body wants to come into extension to try and stabilize the spine and the torso. This is one of those exercises. So, like I was saying, when we come into this, oftentimes it's easy to want to come into extension, we want to inhale here. But because we want to control and not extend the spine and move correctly, firing in our glutes and in our core, we're going to use an exhale. So take a nice inhale to start. You're in neutral, holding that neutral, drawing the belly in. And now on the exhale, we're going to extend your right foot. We're going to just begin with the legs. Inhale, draw the knee back in. Exhale. Beginning and initiating the move with breath to keep from pulling in our backs and losing that stability in our torso. Exhale, last one. You should be feeling glute and core. Now we're going to move into our left leg. Inhale, exhale. Remember, feeling that tightening between the ASIS bones and that pelvic floor. Inhale back in, exhale. Good. Last one. Inhale. All right, now we're going to try and add opposite arm with leg, beginning with our right leg. So take a deep inhale. Expanding those ribs. Now begin the exhale to initiate the move, pulling the belly, tightening that belly just a little bit, pulling the pelvic floor up, and we extend the arm and leg. Inhale back down. Same side, exhale, 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last one. Good, other side for 4. Take a strong inhale, expand those ribs 3-dimensionally. Exhale, extend the leg and the arm this time. And pull it in. Two more. Feel the breath, open the ribs and stabilize the torso. Good, come all the way in to a nice little shell stretch. If that was a strain in those wrists, go ahead and roll them out. Good. All right, so breath work. Why is it important? Remembering it's important to release tension. It helps us to focus on the task at hand. Also, breathing that 3-dimensionally into our rib cage allows us to activate in our core and oxygenate the blood throughout our bodies. And then lastly, it also helps to keep our spine stable from moving into its natural desire to go into extension or flexion when we're trying to keep it stable. So all of these things help us to avoid and prevent injury. So the more we understand the principle of breathing, the better we are in our movement. Thank you for joining. Encourage you to continue watching these videos. They will teach you so much and help you become stronger from the inside out.